Welcome back to World Coin USA. Imagine holding a coin that carries the spirit of an entire nation. A coin that doesn't simply represent 50 cents, but tells the unforgettable story of America's fight for freedom, its greatest celebration, and one of the most emotional chapters in its history. Today, we're exploring the legendary 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar. At first glance, it may seem like just another coin, but the moment you look closer, you realize that every letter, every number, and every detail was created for a reason. Why does this coin display two different years instead of one? Why was its design changed after more than a decade? And why do collectors still search through thousands of half dollars hoping to discover a rare example of this historic issue? The answers take us back to a journey that began more than 200 years ago, a journey filled with courage, sacrifice, and a dream that changed the world forever. Long before this coin was ever struck, America was a collection of 13 colonies struggling under British rule. The people dreamed of freedom, but that dream came at a tremendous cost. On July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted inside Independence Hall in Philadelphia, marking the birth of a new nation. That single moment became one of the most important events in world history, and exactly 200 years later, the United States decided that such an extraordinary milestone deserved to be remembered forever. As the bicentennial celebration approached, the U.S. Mint wanted to create something that every American could hold in their hand. Instead of building another monument or issuing another stamp, they transformed everyday coins into living pieces of history. The Kennedy half dollar was chosen as one of the special commemorative coins because it already represented hope, courage, and national unity after the tragic loss of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. For this historic issue, the familiar portrait of President Kennedy remained on the front, reminding Americans of his vision and leadership. But the reverse received a dramatic new design. The presidential seal disappeared, and in its place appeared the magnificent image of Independence Hall, the very building where the Declaration of Independence was debated and approved. Suddenly, this half dollar became much more than currency. It became a symbol connecting two unforgettable moments in American history, the birth of the nation in 1776 and the bicentennial celebration in 1976. One of the most fascinating facts about this coin is something many people never notice. Although millions of these coins were produced during both 1975 and 1976, none of them carries the date 1975. Instead, every bicentennial Kennedy half dollar proudly displays the dual date 1776-1976, making it one of the few American coins to honor two different years on the same design. That unique feature alone makes it instantly recognizable to collectors around the world. The U.S. Mint struck these coins in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most entered circulation and were spent in everyday transactions, while special collector editions were carefully produced with brilliant proof finishes and even 40% silver compositions. Families saved them as souvenirs, children received them as gifts, and collectors placed them in albums, believing they represented a once-in-a-lifetime moment that would never happen again. As the years passed, millions of bicentennial half dollars disappeared into drawers, old boxes, inherited collections, and forgotten piggy banks. Most remained ordinary, but a small number became extraordinary. Coins preserved in exceptional condition, rare silver issues, proof strikes, and pieces with unusual mint errors slowly gained the attention of serious collectors. Some examples eventually sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars, proving that history can sometimes become surprisingly valuable. Today, nearly 50 years after its release, the 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the world. Every scratch tells a story. Every detail reminds us of the people who celebrated America's 200th birthday. And every time someone discovers one of these coins, they are holding more than metal, they are holding a chapter of history that connects generations. So the next time you find a 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar, don't be too quick to spend it. Take a closer look, examine every detail, and remember that this remarkable coin was created to celebrate freedom, honor history, and preserve the memory of a nation for future generations. Sometimes the greatest stories are not found in books or museums, they are quietly waiting inside the palm of your hand. Thank you for watching World Coin USA. If you enjoy discovering the hidden history behind America's most fascinating coins, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. What if one of the most historic coins in America has been quietly hiding in plain sight for nearly 50 years? Millions of people have held this coin, spent it, or tossed it into a drawer without realizing that it was created to celebrate one of the greatest milestones in American history. Today, we are taking a closer look at the remarkable 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar. This is not just another 50-cent coin. It is a symbol of freedom, remembrance, and a once-in-a-lifetime national celebration. But what makes this coin so different? Why does it carry two dates instead of one? And why are collectors still searching for the finest examples decades after it was first released? Let's uncover the fascinating story hidden inside this extraordinary coin. The history of this coin actually begins 2 centuries before it was minted. In the summer of 1776, 13 American colonies made one of the boldest decisions in history. Inside Independence Hall in Philadelphia, leaders gathered to sign the Declaration of Independence, officially breaking away from British rule. It was a dangerous decision, filled with uncertainty, but it forever changed the future of the United States. That historic moment became the foundation of the nation, and every generation since has remembered it as the beginning of American freedom. Exactly 200 years later, the United States prepared for an unforgettable celebration. The year 1976 marked America's bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of independence. Across the country, cities organized parades, museums created special exhibitions, schools taught the story of the Revolution, and millions of Americans proudly celebrated their nation's history. The U.S. Mint wanted every citizen to own a small piece of this celebration, so it introduced special bicentennial designs on the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins. The Kennedy half dollar was an obvious choice. Since its introduction in 1964, it had already become one of America's most respected coins. Created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963, the coin represented hope, courage, and national unity. Rather than replacing Kennedy's portrait, the Mint decided to preserve his image while completely redesigning the reverse side to commemorate the bicentennial. The result was breathtaking. Instead of the traditional presidential seal, the reverse now featured the famous Independence Hall, one of the most important buildings in American history. This was the very place where both the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution shaped the future of a nation. Every time someone looked at the reverse of this coin, they were reminded that freedom was built through determination, sacrifice, and vision. One feature immediately caught everyone's attention. Instead of showing a single year, this coin displayed the dual date 1776-1976. Many people assumed there must also be a 1975 version somewhere, but surprisingly, no Kennedy half dollars were dated 1975. The U.S. Mint intentionally skipped that date so every bicentennial half dollar would proudly honor the 200-year anniversary. Even today, this remains one of the most unusual decisions in modern American coinage. Production quickly began at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, where hundreds of millions of circulation coins were struck. At the same time, the San Francisco Mint produced beautiful proof versions and special 40% silver collector editions. Families purchased proof sets as keepsakes, hoping future generations would remember the historic celebration. Few realized that decades later these coins would become treasured collectibles. As years passed, most bicentennial half dollars quietly disappeared from everyday circulation. Some were placed inside family collections. Others remained untouched in old drawers, forgotten coin jars, bank vaults, and inherited boxes. Every now and then, someone would discover one unexpectedly and wonder if it might be valuable. The truth is that while most circulated examples are worth only a modest premium, certain pieces have become highly desirable. Coins with exceptional mint luster, flawless surfaces, strong strikes, rare mint errors, double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or silver compositions can attract serious collector interest. Auction records have shown that the finest certified examples can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, proving that condition often matters just as much as rarity. Professional collectors carefully examine every bicentennial half dollar under magnification. They study the mint mark, inspect the lettering, search for doubling, and evaluate the smallest imperfections. A tiny difference that most people would never notice can dramatically change a coin's value. This careful search has turned the 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar into one of the most exciting modern coins for both beginners and experienced collectors. But perhaps the greatest value of this coin is not measured in dollars at all. It represents a nation celebrating 200 years of independence while honoring the memory of one of its most beloved presidents. Every detail on this coin was designed with purpose. Kennedy's portrait reminds Americans of leadership and hope, while Independence Hall reminds the world where the journey of American freedom truly began. Nearly half a century has passed since these coins were released, yet their story continues. New collectors discover them every year. Families pass them from one generation to another. Coin hunters still search bank rolls hoping to uncover an exceptional example. And historians continue to admire the bicentennial Kennedy half dollar as one of the most meaningful commemorative coins ever produced by the United States Mint. So, the next time you find a 1776-1976 Kennedy half dollar, don't look at it as ordinary pocket change. Hold it for a moment. Look closely at the dual date. Study the image of Independence Hall. Remember the incredible journey from 1776 to 1976, and realize that in the palm of your hand rests a small but powerful piece of American history, a coin created not just to be spent, but to keep the story of freedom alive for generations. Thank you for watching World Coin USA. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden history behind this remarkable American coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More fascinating US coin stories are coming soon. See you in the next video.